In defense of the F-86F-40 JASDF, the premium rank 5 Japanese jet sat at battle rating 9.0, also known as the Weeb Saber and many other names given to it. Hey folks, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to War Thunder. You guys completely blew me away in the last video. I was not expecting all the support, and I greatly appreciate it. We have reached 100 subscribers now, and I'm very happy that there are genuinely people who actually want to see my content. It really makes me happy, and it really makes me smile to know that. So I hope that I can bring you another good video today. So today, similar to how we were defending the QN506 in our first video, we're going to be talking about the premium Japanese Saber here, because yet again this is one of them vehicles which, although it is long past its glory days, it is still extremely underrated, and a lot of people don't seem to give it a lot of credit anymore. Now, it's understandable why, but I believe it does deserve a bit more love, personally, and we're going to go over that today. Now, first off, I do just want to make this clear. I picked up this vehicle in the May sale that was going on, so I've only had this for a few days, and for me to say that I know every in and out, all the ins and outs of this vehicle, would be me lying. But I have played Sabres quite a lot over on the US tree, and other trees in general, and so I know the general gist of their performance and how to use them. Typically, I don't really like Sabres. I'm not particularly a big fan of them, but I thought I would give this one a try. So, to kind of talk about the negatives of this aircraft first off, we've got a Sabre at 9.0. Most other Sabres tend to be at 8.7 or even 8.3 if we want to go back to the first US jet. And so with it being at 9.0, it gets put in a position where it's getting put up against a lot of jets which have missiles of AIM-9E or higher, and typically transonic jets and even supersonics as well. So it does struggle a bit in the speed department, and usually what I tend to find in games with this is that this tends to be usually the last aircraft to leave the runway. That doesn't mean that the overall speed is bad. I think it's just generally the acceleration is not too good, because if you look here, the engine that it does have is just a General Electric, and you know, compared to a lot of other jets, it's BR, and obviously within the bracket that it's going to be playing at, it's not as powerful as them. So it does struggle a bit in sort of the acceleration and speed department, but that's fine. What I do tend to find with this, a bit of a bonus, is the fact that out of a lot of games that I have played in this, I am typically put in a down tier, which is very nice. I'm typically put down to either 8.0 or around the 8.3 to 8.7 bracket, and I am only occasionally put in up tiers, and usually them up tiers are only up to, say, 9.3 or 9.7. I don't typically get up tier to 10.0, which is good. But this vehicle is, or this jet, tends to benefit from having a bit of a bump down in matchmaking, which is quite nice. The second issue that I have with this is its weaponry. I really do not like 50 cals on jets. I have played them in the G91 and the early Sabres, and that's why I was happy to get my hands on the 20mm Sabre on the US tree and the Sabre Dogs, but I genuinely don't like 50 cals. Now, the redeeming factor is because I've played the G91s more than I have the F-86s, the G91s suffer from only having 450 cals, or even in some instances on the configurations 2. And so it places you at a massive firepower disadvantage. And the issue with 50 cals is it's the equivalent of having 7.7s on a prop. You are just pitter-patter a lot of the time. And so it's not like you're running 20 or 30mm cannons where you can get the guns on target, fire off 2 rounds and they'll instantly be dead. You know, you'll rip a wing off or something. You have to pray and spray a bit. Thankfully, it does get a lot of ammo. Gets 1,800 rounds shared between all the guns. So you do, well, you can do a lot of spraying and praying, really, with this, which is what you're going to need to do. And I believe that's why it has so much ammunition, because you're going to need it to take down your targets. Ideally, what you're banking on with the 50 cals is, thankfully, because on the Sabres you do have 6 here instead of just 4, you're banking on hopefully getting a straight 4-2 in on the enemy and hopefully either setting a fire or hopefully hitting something critical that makes a thing go down, or just trying to pitter-patter until they can't control the aircraft and you can eventually kill them and get behind them, or turn fire them, whatever needs to be done. So that's my only issue, but after a while I have gotten used to using the 50 cals on this thing, and I do quite enjoy them. I'm running ground bouts here because I did actually take this into a ground game, but I do typically like to run tracer bouts on this, just purely because the velocity on the 50s aren't as high, I want to say, as that on later 20mm, and because these are fairly early 50 cals, because this is a jet from the 50s. I do tend to find that having the tracers definitely helps me with leading the shots. I want to just talk about why I like this thing, really. Because even though you're going up against other aircraft which are significantly better, first off, I want to start off by saying, I love the camouflage on this thing. I think this has one of the best base game camouflages for any premium aircraft. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is just, I love the kind of 4-tone colour here that we've got going on, and the Japanese around us just make this look very nice. So that's one of the first things that I love, is the aesthetics and appearance of this vehicle. Second of all, this is a Sabre with air-to-air missiles. It's not a Sabre dog, I know Sabre dogs get them, but this gets AIM-9Bs. Now, AIM-9Bs are in no regard particularly a good missile. They're your bog standard missiles, but hey, let's be thankful this thing doesn't get AIM-9As if they were in the game. But you can use these AIM-9Bs to finish off opponents who are low energy, low speed, who are crippled, or who just aren't paying attention in general, and they can be useful. I've gotten quite a few kills with these missiles. And the nice thing that I do like about this as well is, compared to a lot of other jets at the BR, this thing has superb maneuverability. The turn rate, the roll rate is extremely good, and I do tend to find that in some aspects the energy retention is quite good. You can typically maintain energy in this quite well, and so usually I do like to conserve that energy in order to use it and turn on the inside of enemies and climb up to a decent medium altitude and dive down. It's a pretty darn effective vehicle, and it's a good dogfighter as well in those turn fights, and those missiles on top just add to the beauty of it being the Sabre. The main feature though is of course the roll rate. The Sabres excel in roll rate, and generally there's a lot of people hating on this aircraft. It's far past its glory days, but I think if you are an experienced pilot, then this vehicle can still be utilised and is still good, and I personally enjoyed it and playing it to get through the Japanese tech tree. But apart from that, I hope you did enjoy this video today. If you did, please leave a like and leave a comment down below what you'd like to see in the next video. I'll see you all in the next one.